Okay, quick battle video for chainmail. Just gonna teach you how to play battle. My son's playing Xbox in the background, so you'll probably hear him. And I might mess this up a few times, but it's just a quick lesson. So let's say we go through a turn, stay or move. We move into this place with 2 skulls, which means we're gonna roll 2 dice plus 1 because we just moved in. If we roll a 6, let's just pretend I've rolled this, we go into battle. We can't adjust that or anything like that. We're going into battle, which means we take our like turn card and flip it over to the battle side. And I'll teach you how we use this whole thing and our whole situation here. So stay or move, we rolled for trouble, which that was called. Any 6s we go into battle. If there were doubles, we would have had a trap, which we're not going to go over. But we are going to go over battle. So when a battle occurs, you use the back side of the turn card. Each character, which are these, and each monster, which is the gray, will have their own column in the battle card. So if you see this right here, let's see. Each character is going to start in this battle line, and then some of them can move up or down. Obviously, these ones can't. Whichever one the monster's in, the monster never moves. But let's say we have a character here. They can move up into prep, up into hide, down into flank, down into taunt. But if they're here, they can't really move anywhere. If they're here, they can move into prep or taunt, but they can't move into hide. So you never leave your column unless you swap with another character, which you can do, to eventually leave that column. But during your turn, your character generally is moving within their column. Okay, so we went into battle. So the first thing we're going to do is determine the monster, so we can see how things are going to happen. And on this card, we've got the Necrolich and the skeletons. So we roll. We got a 3, which is a skeleton, and it's not a black number. So that means we get to place our characters as we would like. But if it was a black number, the 6, then we just have to choose them randomly and place them from left to right. So we place the skeleton in their spot, which is the dark spot shown on the skeleton card. And then we place the others as we would like, and we get to sit here and think about it for a second. I know the ranger has some range, has this crossbows, but we're not near the crossbows. We're sort of near it, but not near it. We're right next to what do they call it? I don't have it in front of me. It's a double melee. I don't know what we call it. Dual melee. So I might want that next to the monster because melee attacks only hit adjacent. So let's say I'm going to put the ranger right there. Another one with some range is the witch, and the witch needs the fruit and the fang, the berries and the fang, and we're on that. So I'm going to put the witch all the way out here because a ranged attack can hit anywhere in the battle line. We've also got the cleric and the thief. The thief has a big hit. The cleric can help everybody else, but also has some really big hits. So for now, I'm going to put the cleric right there next to it, and I'm going to put the thief on the side, and the thief's going to try to do some other things. Okay, here we go. Before we battle, there's no ambush because we were able to put them how we wanted. The dark color's the ambush. So there's a quick attack. Prepped characters, which means any characters that are already on a battle icon are able to do an attack. So we look, and they go from left to right on the battle card. So starting with the witch is on the crossbow. So the witch gets an attack on the skeletons. So what you're going to do is you roll 1 die. You have to hit higher than their defense number, which is a 3. So let's roll it. So I rolled a 5. That's a hit. Oh, sorry, I got to set up the skeletons. They have 5 health right here. So skeletons get down by 1. That's our initial attacks that we did coming into battle. Nobody else is on a battle icon or an attack icon. And this isn't an attack icon. That isn't a training icon. It means that that crossbow is now available for the ranger to use. If we were here, the ranger couldn't use the crossbow, but we're not on the crossbow, so we're going to leave it at that. So after you do all your initial introductions, we start the battle, the monster attacks. So the skeleton, I'm going to just take this off right here. The skeletons, here's their attack range. So they're going to hit this spot that's behind them, and these 3 spots that are in front of them. So they're going to hit, if they hit, they're going to hit our ranger and our cleric. Everybody else is kind of safe. When this monster takes damage, roll a die on a 1, reduce that by 1. So let's just see if that last one, okay, that last one would have been fine. But each one has some special abilities and things like that. The cleric also gets +1 reroll versus the undead, so the cleric is in a good spot. But otherwise, they're just going to roll a single 6-sided die and try to get a 1 through 3. And if they get a 1 through 3, they're going to hit all those spots at once. They hit for 1 damage. They have 5 health. We already took away 1 in the introduction, and we got to roll a 3 or higher to beat them, or to damage them. The amount of damage we do is listed on the icon for the card. So this one does 1, this one does 2, this one does 1. There's a couple 3s in here. This one's a 3. The bear is a 3. A melee 3. I think it's a roll 2 melee 3. The bear. Roll 3. No, it's 3 dice, 1 damage for each hit. Okay. So anyway, let's start this battle. Skeleton's gonna roll. 1 through 3 is gonna hit. 3. Bam, it hits both of them. So it hits the ranger for 1. It hits the cleric for 1. Now it comes to us. And what we can do is we can act or move. So we're gonna go from left to right and decide whether we want to act, or we're gonna move our characters. So acting is moving your cubes along the character, you know, making a different combination. So in order to act, starting with the witch, if I move to this space right here, anything in this line gains these extra abilities that work a little different than everything else. But if I move to here, she has a 1 sword attack. And she can move, it's 1 cube every turn. So I'm going to move there. She gets a 1 sword attack. It doesn't help, right? So I'm not going to do that. But what I want to do is I want to do this one, which is the berry and the fang. So I'm going to move off of the fang onto here, which does nothing for the turn, but next turn I can move back. So the witch can essentially do that every 2 turns. Okay, I'm going to go to the thief here. The thief is in a position where he can't do any range damage. Everything is, melee is all adjacent, orthogonally adjacent, but he can't do range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the thief up 1 into prep. And that's the whole turn is that movement. And I could have also said I'm going to swap with somebody, but I'm not going to swap because I've got some big things coming up. The cleric, I'm going to, cleric can move 1 cube, 1 space. I'm going to move 1 into his attack 1, which means I roll 1 die. If it's higher than the skeleton's shield, it does 1 damage. We were on 4, now we're on 3. And then I go to the ranger. The ranger gets to move 2 cubes or 2 spaces on a turn. So move 1 into the dual attack and move 1 into dual wield to allow that attack to happen in the training. And dual wield is you roll 2 dice and you hit for each one. So I got 2 and a 2, which, I forgot the skeleton's ability. Hold on. I did not roll 1. Okay, so I got a 2 and a 2. Neither of those hit. Now, you can adjust your die rolls with, let's see, your coins. So let's just say I have 2 coins. Each coin allows you to up or down a die 1 pip. So if I spent 1 coin, I can get that to a 3, and I can also get this one to a 3 for a second one. If we were at 2 and if I rolled a 1, you can't adjust a die twice. You can only adjust each die once with a coin. So if I rolled 2 2s, which I did, and I had 2 coins, I can get them both into 3s on that turn. But then I'm out of coins and I can't adjust anything else. So that would hit twice, and then I gotta roll and see if I get any 1s. On a roll of 1, we reduce the damage by 1, which I didn't, thankfully. That tireless hits me in normal games every single time. So, comes back to the skeleton. Skeleton rolls 2. They got a 2. They're rolling really well. 1 through 3 is gonna hit here and here. So they're hitting that cleric again, and they're hitting that ranger again. Okay, it's time to go back to these. The witch, I'm going to pop over here and roll my 1 die to see if I can hit. 3 or higher is a hit, which would kill the skeleton unless I roll a 1, which I didn't. If the skeleton wasn't killed, I just want to get through the rest of this round to show you one other thing. The thief is in prep, so we go first, then we go second. Since the thief is in prep, I'm going to move the thief. I'm going to move you can move the thief up to 3, but you have to roll for disorientation. So I'm going to move 1 to counterclockwise and 1 to search. Now I have to roll higher than a 2 or higher. No, higher than a 2, I'm sorry, to be successful. I rolled a 3, so that's successful. Now, that allows me to search on my turn while they're all battling. I'm kind of hiding out in battle, trying to do some other things and search. So I'm going to pull in the search card real quick, which would be out. You would be able to see it. But that search card, you roll 2 dice. I got a 5. You find a wild boar. It's 2 food. So now I get to move my food up 2, which I might spend the food. Bam, bam. Or no, so it's 2. 2 food equals 1 health, so I'm going to protect my ranger a little bit because the cleric can protect themselves. But I would have defeated the skeletons anyway, which gives me the reward of 1 food and 1 experience. Experience allows for, I believe it's extra actions during a turn, or when it gets to 5, you get to add another cube to a character, which is pretty awesome. When you get another cube going down here, and on your turn you can move to the bear or move to the to the sword. And you've got options. It lets you attack more. It lets you just gives you a lot of control of your turns when a character has that second cube. I could put it up here instead and be training all the time, but you'll be bumping into each other. So this is probably a better spot for it. And that's it. That's essentially how a battle works. If we were fighting the Necrolich, it would start out at 7 health. It would have probably taken its toll on us. It has 5, which you have to hit. 5 is such a hard attack. You're throwing these dice out. You're hopefully manipulating them with your coins. During the first round, they roll a 1 to 2. They can't attack that round, which is another killer, but it's only the first round. You get more experience when you defeat them. Their attack, almost everything but a 6 hits, but where it hits is a little different. The 3 would hit all 3 in that middle row. A 4 just hits on the outside and prep and flank. A 5 only hits there, and a 1 only hits behind them. But for you to hit them, you've got to spend some coins and get some high die rolls. Maybe roll something like that bear, where you're rolling 3 dice and trying to hit. Well, you still only would have hit 1. That Necrolich is hard, but we wanted to start out with a little bit of a threat. So there you go. That's how a round of battle would work. Hope it helps. If not, ask me any questions. And if I missed anything, feel free to point it out. All right. See you, everyone.